Hi, I'm Sandra Scheller with the Chula Vista Heritage Museum of the South Bay Historical Society. I'm with David Beck Brown, and we're doing something a little different than normal. We're looking at how does one create an exhibit or a museum? Where does it all start? So, David, go ahead and explain to me about your board that you have, and then we'll take a little tour.
Okay, well, this is basically my storyboard, and everything is put together.
What do the lines represent?
Connections, like these pedestals here. Mm-hmm. If you go down here, they're arranged like a swastika, and on the pedestals are these antique furnitures. And on the sides, there's antique furnitures on pedestals that are uplifted, and they're at an angle as if there's been a war or earthquake. And you see the pedestals here and here. And then there's a slew of chairs that people can sit on, and they could look at the artwork. Then there's the dragon teeth, which was used during World War I to keep tanks out of a certain area. So there's going to be chains between the dragon teeth, which you see here. And here's a pedestal that's at an angle.
This is all stuff that you created and have photographed and have conceptualized, or is there anything on this board that is from another exhibit and you're just putting it in your storyboard?
Nope. No, they're all fresh. This is my assistant with a painting from Adolf Hitler, and it was displayed in Las Vegas along with this clock, and it showed the repetition of how the painting represented the society. And here are the trunks of the people who were picked up, taken to concentration camps. It's called the departure.
Did you have that in Las Vegas?
This, no.
That's new. That's a new addition.
Yeah, it's too huge. It was, and this is going to take a large space.
Yeah.
And these flags here, I have about 3 dozen drapes and battle flags. Some of them are up to 16 feet long.
How hard were they to acquire?
Just took money. Just took money.
This is a crazy question. I'm going to go ahead and ask it. Because you own something that has a swastika on it, does that make you a Nazi?
Of course not. No.
I found the same thing because I had acquired things in my storyboard when I was putting things together to explain the Nazi youth. And I will tell you that I have had people during my exhibit donate items to me. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, well, now I can sleep at night because this was stuff that my grandfather had, or this is something that my father collected. I don't want to keep it anymore. So all of a sudden you become this new house. I have a feeling, though, that I will be donating everything to a museum, which means get your museum up and running, please, or I'll be taking it to the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum.
Okay. See, a lot of these things, and people may ask, how can you have these military? I go, hey, they're spoils of war. You don't have to be a backer of this group. These are trophies.
What was it like to acquire your very first hat, and which one was it?
My very first hat? Mm-hmm. I was about 5 years old. I went into my great uncle's backyard, and he was in World War I. In fact, his eyes were yellow from the gas. And I saw this rusted helmet back there in his backyard. And he said, "It's yours." So I was a little kid. I had it sandblasted, and I kept it for years and years. And that was my first one.
Where is it now?
I sold it. It was Austrian-Hungary, and I didn't want an Austrian-Hungary. I wanted German helmets, so I sold that so I could collect the German helmets.
Do you look for a permanent museum that you'll be able to give to an organization once this is done as a creation, that all the sum of the parts equal the whole? or is this something that will go up and then come down and go up and then come down?
I want a permanent one. I've even been thinking about if I had the funds to build a building, a metal building in the desert, and create a permanent one. So far, I've been showing these in piecemeal. I had a show, in Las Vegas, in Santa Monica, at Comic-Con, and eventually it's all going to...
We're very, very grateful to the artwork that you helped us with in art during the Holocaust. I mean, where would I have been able to get artwork that had never been seen before? And you were so kind about providing that for us. But I think people need to understand that your collection is not about, how do you say, praising the Nazis. Your collection is about the historical truth of what happened.
Right.
And you're very fair when it comes to both sides, because there's no media here. It's exactly what it was and what it would have been like. Are you saving people a trip from having to go to Europe? Is there even a museum of this kind in Europe? Is there a Nazi Jewish museum anywhere in the world?
I have no idea. And I don't care. It's here now.
Are you scared?
I've been through different things, but no. I've been threatened. And in fact, the man who had collected Hitler's paintings, he was shot at a few times.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he got rid of them all. And you can't find the images of his original best work. But I found some old books. And so I had the images copied, enlarged them, covered them with colored chalks and colored pencils, and then I erased part of it, like history erased.
What do you do when somebody just says, David, what the hell are you doing? How do you answer that?
Usually they don't want an answer. They just get mad and they leave.
Point. They don't want an answer.
Yeah.
They just want to be able to voice how they feel without, they're able to get their voice out there. They just have their ears turned off as to what your answer is. What's your answer, David?
Well, the answer is truth in history. Just say the truth. There's people who denounce the Holocaust, okay? And there's people who say that Hitler was a failed artist. He was not a failed artist. He sold a lot of artwork, and he did very well. He had some sloppy work. But to say that Hitler was a failed artist is just like say there was no Holocaust. Just truth in history. There was a Holocaust. Hitler was a good artist. Just say the truth.
You can say that in one sentence. I'm impressed. Good job, David. Good job. Well, is there anything else you want to take me on a tour to see? Do you not have something that's sort of one of a kind?
I have many one of a kinds. Here, let me show you these.
Okay.
These are portraits that I've done of concentration camp survivors, symbolically. And I wanted them all on a wall.
Wow, David, I didn't know about these.
I believe I have 100. I'm not too sure how many. But just against the wall, these faces, these kind of lost faces. There's a whole stack of them here.
Oh, David.
Yeah.
David, we need to talk because I need some images for my new book.
I channeled. I had to get into that space.
I would love to see them all, but I'm asking a lot, so.
Oh. And I have these old books, religious books.
What is this book right here?
That's a old Bible from the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And that.
Do you have any underclothing that Hitler wore?
Yes, but it's protected.
Under lock Lock and key.
I have Hitler's underpants. That was interesting because it was made by a Jewish company.
Yes.
And they're oversized. I also have his personal copy of Mein Kampf, which is bejeweled and leather and pewter on that. This is to portray the clash between the traditional neoclassical and the modern contemporary that happened during World War I. Everything changed during World War I. People doubted their religion, the royalty, society, and the whole world was in upheaval. And that's when Hitler painted. And you see his works up here, or images of his works that I partly erased. And it's the unknown artist.
Why did you erase them, David?
Because it's art teachers and critics say that he was a failed artist, and he wasn't. So let's have truth in history. So what I did here was to replicate his work, enlarge them, then I partially erased them, like Adolf Hitler, the artist. History erase. We cannot erase history. That's why I don't like the fact that people took down sculptures, statues. We take history the way it is, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so what I've done is to create these pedestal platforms. I have 24, and they're being held up on a mock plaster. And I have the furniture that's kind of falling off. And so what I want to do is to put them around a room. And they're going to be spread more apart.
You get a lot of questions.
No, I don't talk to people.
You get a lot of questions as to what are you trying to do? What is your mission in this exhibit?
Some of it is personal. Like I had relatives who were killed during World War II.
Am I allowed to film you?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't care really.
All right. David, tell me, why are you creating this? What does this mean to you?
Part of it is personal. I had a lot of relatives killed during World War II. In fact, they were assassinated. One of my relatives was Ludwig Beck, the chief of the German General Staff. And he attempted to kill Hitler. And he and Rommel were executed with gunfire. The other conspirators were hung on meat hooks on piano wire, and they were strangled. And then Hitler had it filmed, and then he watched it. So part of it is personal. Another part of it is I like history. And so this is about World War II and what happened during the Reich. How did people change so much? And I don't think it can be swept under the rug. We have to confront it.
Wow. Your ideas are pretty amazing.
Oh, what I've just done? I bought some Reich overcoats from the 1940s, 1930s, and they're going to be hung from piano wire and meat hooks.
Are you going to explain in your explanation so people can understand what the piano wire means?
Yeah.
And the meat hook? Yeah.
Truth in history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We can't depart it.
Do you see this exhibit or this museum coming up in San Diego? Or is that a big secret?
I've been turned down by two prominent art museums because if you mention the word Hitler, the title, people jump to, they react. But it's not about Hitler, it's about the human condition and what happened there. Mm-hmm. So I'm just, I've been working on this for years and years. What this is my palette. I'm just gathering the colors, I'm gathering the symbols, the elements. I may not use them all, but this is what I'm doing now. Now with the furniture that I bought a lot of antiques. What I want to do is to drape them in linen, white linen. And on that, I want to project spears, Hitler's architect spear. of his drawings for New Berlinia, which was going to be the capital of the world. And they had to be original antiques. I could have used boxes, but they need to be the original.
That baby carriage is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Is that an original?
I can't say.
David, I want to thank you for your creativity of what you're doing and what you've shown me. I know this is a work in progress, and it's always really hard when you do that, but I think you're on the right track and you have my support. And you actually had my mother's support, who is a concentration camp survivor. I think as long as you keep every single thing 1,000,000% true to history, you're going to have a winner.
But this is truth in history. It's like all this is a three-dimensional display of what we see on TV. Mm-hmm. You know, like we always see these Holocaust films. Here in the States, they're played 24/7 someplace.
Now I have to bring that up to you. When I look at a Holocaust film, I say, who is the guy behind the camera? Why weren't they there to help?
Oh yeah.
That is another reason that I always say the they. Yeah. Where were the they to help?
And the Allies did not bomb the tracks leading into the concentration camps. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to waste the bombs. Yeah.
So crazy. Well, concentration camps came about, if I'm not mistaken, because the bullets were too expensive.
Yeah.
So you got them all at once.
And the executioners were getting ill, and they were completely drunk. Yeah. You know, because shooting a woman and children does something. And so to protect the executioners, they started the gas chamber.
If it's okay, I just want to take a moment of silence with you and honor those that have passed.
Sure.
And with that, I say thanks for watching.